Welcome to Upshift. Today we are going to talk about a very specific topic that many in the industry are talking about. It is about science-based target initiative. Yes, when you heard the term of science-based target initiative, you may be wondering what I am going to talk about. It is about how an organization can effectively implement science-based target initiative in your organization or for your business. Having said that, I need to tell that many have been talking about this, but there are organizations or the professionals who do not have better understanding how your organization can commit yourselves for the science-based target initiative and implement accordingly. Before moving to that, I would like to talk about what science-based target initiative is about. Science-based target initiative initiated as a result of the Paris Agreement, which was signed in 2015, focusing on 2 degrees Celsius increase with respect to pre-industrial level of the global temperature, preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius. In light of this, how organizations or the businesses can aligning with the commitment made globally towards decarbonization. Science-based target initiative has been set up with the contribution of CDP, WRI, WWF and UNGC. Now you may be wondering, what are the steps that you need to follow if you want to implement science-based target initiative in your organization or the business? I'm going to summarize it in 5 steps that you need to follow. First and foremost, what you need to do is you need to make the commitment. How you are going to make that commitment? You need to express your intent of participation for the decarbonization strategy to meet the science-based targets. How you are going to do that? You need to make a commitment within 24 months that you are going to set targets to achieve science-based targets in your business as a part of your decarbonization strategy for scope 1, 2, 3 greenhouse gas emissions. Step number 2, once you do this commitment, what you need to do? You need to set or you need to develop your baseline for scope 1, 2 and 3 in greenhouse gas emissions. After putting that, you need to set targets. How you are going to set science-based targets? Science-based, here the science we are talking about is climate science. According to climate science, to achieve the prescribed path, that is 1.5 degrees Celsius or 2 degrees Celsius path, you need to set the target accordingly. There are 3 ways of that you could put the targets. First approach, we call it as absolute contraction method. In other words, irrespective of the growth of your business, you are going to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by absolute numbers. It is not the easy target. The second approach is we call it as you are going to focus sectoral decarbonization approach. Different sectors, especially the sectors where that you have higher greenhouse gas emissions, for instance manufacturing sector, there is a difficulty for you to achieve absolute emission reduction, but you could focus on intensity reduction with respect to your production or your manufacturing footprint. For example, one organization set science-based target according to reduction of greenhouse gas emission per kilogram of the production or number of pieces that you are going to make. The third approach is you could focus science-based target setting in terms of economic intensity form. In other words, with respect to revenue of your business, what's the greenhouse gas emission reduction that you are going to achieve within the prescribed method? You need to know within scope 1, 2 and 3 emissions, you could set targets across different approaches as well. For example, for an organization, you may be setting your science-based target scope 1 and 2 using absolute contraction method, whereas for the scope 3 emissions, which is very difficult to handle, you may be setting with respect to economic intensity as well. Or else you could have 3 types of emissions targets based on 3 approaches as well. After setting the development of the baseline and targets, next is you need to validate your targets. There is an independent assessment conducted by WRI to ensure that your target has been made scientifically to meet the climate science. After validation of it, the 4th step will be you can communicate your commitment publicly through your website, through your articles or whatever the communication that you follow through the corporate communication method, you could communicate it. After communication it's a matter of how you are going to implement it. What you need to do is that step 5 is you need to start tracking how you are performing with respect to set KPIs or the targets for science-based target emissions scope 1, 2 and 3. At the same time, you need to identify how you are going to implement your decarbonization strategy to meet that set targets. If you are not going to meet that, then again your science-based target commitment will be challenged. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, in your business, if you want to commit yourselves as an organization focusing towards sustainability or climate change, the best way is that you could commit yourself for science-based target initiative. To do that, you need to follow 5 steps that we discussed. Commit, develop, validate, communicate, and implement. Stay tuned.